Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in. The 3-option letter of intent is what we are talking about today. We're talking about why we stopped using it and why we don't use it. So, Dave, what is the 3-option letter of intent, or what's your take on it? I mean, my opinion was you would use multiple different options because oftentimes, as somebody who's wholesaling properties, your cash offer would be low. So again, your 3-option letter of intent, the idea was, hey, let's get some other ideas out there so that you aren't just told no constantly, you know?
Yeah, I think there's 2 reasons people use it, Mike. One would be to make your cash offer look appealing, maybe, or maybe not. I guess it could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
The other is if you really are seeking those other types of investments. So if you're looking to buy some sub-2s or some owner finance deals, having multiple options for the seller is a great idea. However, me and you aren't into that, which is fine. It's just not what we choose to do. It just seems like it's not worth our time. So when we offer those other offers, our cash offer is typically the lowest offer. So it kind of makes our cash offer, not look so strong. I've used it on and off, to be honest with you. I've used multiple offer, or multiple types of offers when making an offer in the past. And it really is a great approach for those who don't have much equity, or you just know that your offer is going to be way below what they would be willing to accept. But I personally don't like taking away from my cash offer, because that's our goal, right? So I think it depends a little on what your goals are.
It is, and I think, my personal opinion is it's kind of like what you just said, is that we did not really want to go after like sandwich lease options or the owner finance deals because let's talk about what these options or what these offers look like. Let's start there. I think we kind of jumped in too fast, exactly. Let's cover the 3-option. It's really a letter of intent.
It's a letter of intent with 3 options for a seller.
Yeah, you're not sending 3 contracts saying I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. It's saying, hey, I'm willing to buy your property these different ways, right?
Absolutely.
That's what the 3-option letter of intent is.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the most common 3 offers? One is the cash one. The second one is the seller financing or owner financing. So if they can provide you
though they're usually
terms.
Both owner financing, I feel like. I guess it depends on what yours look like. So let's talk about
True.
what ours looks like.
True.
It could be anything, guys. Ours was a cash offer. It was an owner finance short term with a balloon, I believe.
I think that's what we tried.
And then it was a owner finance long term. And the cool thing about the long term one was it was principal payments. We didn't even pay interest. There was no rate of interest. The short one I think maybe did have one, but you can remove that,
Right, and so why would somebody go for that? Well, the idea is, okay, instead of our price, which would be low, like our cash price, we would be like, okay, we'll pay you your price over 10 years, something like that.
Absolutely.
So again, that's why you would use something like that, or how you could justify it. So why did we get away from it? One, I mean, honestly, people, for the most part, at least in our experience, my experience, aren't interested in that. 9 times out of 10, people want the cash. They want to just be done with it. I mean, that's my experience.
They want to be done with it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's do a real life example.
All right.
So we get a property. It has an ARV of $150K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's in a normal area, so it's a 70% discount for our discount rate.
Okay.
The repairs are $27,000. I'm just going to throw a random number out there. Okay. So let's run through our MAO formula. MAO is going to be 150. Got a calculator over there?
Sure.
Times 0.7 minus 27K.
So we're at 150 times 0.7 is 105.
Okay, minus 27.
Let's make it a round number so it's easier to think about.
I like that it's off.
All right,
number.
minus 27.
Yeah.
Oh man, I messed it up. 105 minus 27
150. Oh, I'm sorry. 150 times 0.7.
is
My bad. I
105.
didn't mean to interrupt you. 105. Okay.
Minus
Then minus our 27.
27 is 78.
Okay, so 78K would be what we'd be willing to pay for this property. Now, we would need to take a wholesale fee out if we're wholesaling it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the wholesale fee out.
Yeah, it's called 10K.
10K. Okay, 78K now becomes 68K. So that would be our cash offer on this house. 68K cash offer, okay? Now, if the owner of this property owes 90 grand and they don't have any money to bring to the table,
And this is probably somebody who's owned it for 15 years.
right?
So again, that's not uncommon for them to still owe a majority of
Absolutely.
the mortgage or the value.
So 68K
Pretty
is
common.
what Mike and I are willing to say, hey, Mr. Seller, we're going to give you 68K today. We can close in 2-3 weeks, get this done. But let's just say that the seller owes 90 and they don't have any money to bring to the table. So this would be the type of lead that a multiple offer situation may be in your benefit. If they are motivated to sell, however, they don't have any money to bring to the table, but they may be interested in selling you the property at 90 grand, then there may be something on the table there. Now, Mike, we wouldn't normally pay 90. So why would all of a sudden we be willing to pay 90? Something's got to give, right? We have to trade something in order for us to come up on our number from 68 to 90. So that would be enter option 2. Option 1 would be cash offer. Enter option 2. So how would you present that to the seller? Okay, you owe 90. We'll pay you 90. But
So option 2 in my brain, when they owe 90, I would want to go and do subject 2. I mean, that would be my
perfect. So
my
that could be option
So the value that they're providing me, 1 is the house, but then 2 is the fact that I don't have to go out and get financing. So my second option would be the
I love it. That's where I would go
I'll
to.
take over your payments. Mr. Seller, you can walk away from this house. I'll take over the payments, and you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Okay.
Now,
So
again,
the cool
and
thing
maybe-
about this, Mike, is that might not be a bad deal because if they're 15 years into a 30 loan, right? They bought it or it's worth 150. Who knows what they paid for it? But they owe 90 on it, and you take over those payments. Yeah, you're not getting a great deal, but 50 to 55% of that payment is going towards principal. Whereas if you were to go out and get a loan, you'd be at 1 or 2% for the first payment.
That's right.
So you'd have a lot of leverage on your amortization table. But I like that sub 2 for 90 on option 2. And that would still make the deal work, guys, because we could go in and just take over those payments. And so we wouldn't have an out-of-pocket expense to buy it. So if we were to rehab it, for example, and it needs 27 grand, our out-of-pocket's 27, not 90 plus 27. We're just making those payments, right? And maybe that will work. Maybe it won't. If it's a good deal to do a rental on, maybe it doesn't need the full 27. Maybe it needs 10 or 15. And then we just start making payments. Again, a lot of that payment amount is going to go to principal, but it could position us with a cash flow as well as a wealth building strategy. So that's option 2. Option number 3 would be even more typically than the 90. Let's say we're offering 100K as an offer. However, this one is going to be a 10-year, 0% interest, or another way to look at that is principal only. And we're going to start making payments right away. And basically, we're going to pay 100K over a 10-year period with 0% interest. So 100% of the payment that we make is going to go into equity or debt pay down. However, the seller would have to wait 10 full years to receive all of his money. So there are advantages paying that as well. So even if you bought a property at 100 with the 10-year payment directly to the seller, and you put the 27 in, you're in at 127 with an MAO of 150. I'm sorry, with an ARV of 150. So, you could sell that property and maybe make a few bucks, not much though. Cost of selling it,
Yeah,
holding
plus
interest,
plus fixing it
and
up.
fixing it up.
We
Well,
just
that's what
said
I'm
it needed
saying.
27 in
Yeah,
repairs.
so 100
like,
plus 27, you're going to be at 135.
You're not
So
going to make much.
You
on that.
might. You might not. Right.
Yeah.
But you might not. But again, with option 2 and option 3, the beautiful thing is if you don't have money or the ability to get it from a bank, that might be your only barrier, your only way to enter this business, Mike. You see
Correct.
what I'm saying?
100%.
So there are advantages with paying more and having a seller either work with you to take over their loan or to just pay them directly and they be the bank. But you're going to pay more. You're going to buy that. It's going to cost money to do those things.
So, Dave,
the reason that we don't, Mike, and just let me finish up, is because we don't have to work with the seller. We can work with lenders and bankers. So ideally, you want to be able to just get your own money to close and not worry about it. But if you don't have money, these would be great approaches.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Is so why do we not do it? That's what I was trying to get at. Is why do we not do this? Like it's like, well, that sounds awesome. Like why would I not want to do that? Well, I think it's twofold. One is it's a little bit more work to find a motivated seller, has a property that they're willing to sell at a decent price, or rather a decent.
I mean, all three of these are at a discount, kind of.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Again, I do not see how it would work. And again, maybe I'm just not experienced with it. And I'd love it if I was wrong. Somebody could show me how.
The lease option game, and that's something that we haven't talked about really, but the lease option could be one of the three offers. We just pulled out our three.
Mhm.
Anybody else could have their own three. The lease option, I think, would be the only approach or one of the approaches and or sub two, but that would allow you to basically pay retail. Because there's people out there that are buying properties for retail, but they're not getting loans. They're taking over the mortgages, right? Or they're financing it from the
Yeah,
seller
see, and
directly.
to me, it just
and then
doesn't.
they lease option. That to me doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't like it. I just feel like it's too risky. But again, that's just me. It's my
it's
comfort
a lot
level
of
with real estate
paperwork
investing.
too, and I think that's a reason why I personally don't like it. I don't mind dealing with the people and negotiating, but there's a lot that goes into doing it right.
Right, you
You're
have to
doing
set up a new
a new
entity for each
entity,
property.
right.
You have to, there's a ton of it that goes into
You
it.
got to have the right paperwork with powers of attorney, or you have to have you added as, an acceptable party to review the current loan if it's not your own loan. If it's direct to the seller, it's much easier because then you make your own terms and they're the lender. But whenever you're dealing with their lender, it complicates it a whole lot more. And it's rare that properties are paid off that they're willing to sell on a 10-year. That's another thing. I feel like it's rare that people.
I was going to go there, but I decided not to because of this, Dave.
Okay.
Wholesaling, one of the biggest things you'll hear when you say, oh, I buy properties at 50% on the dollar, or, oh, I buy property,
Yep.
oh, why would a seller ever take a $50,000 offer on, or let's use our example, a $68,000 offer on a $150,000 house? That never happens. So that's why I didn't want to say that, because we buy houses at a discount all the time.
Yeah, that's yep.
All the time.
So one thing I was thinking about while you were saying that is with us being discount property investors, that's our brand too, right? That's what we do all day. It doesn't make sense for us to buy properties not at a discount. And whenever you're doing this creative, oftentimes that's why, because you can't get it at a discount. So it kind of just goes against mine and yours, or yours and I's.
Just our philosophy.
Our whole philosophy.
Right.
Of if you can't get it at a discount, can you make money buying properties not at a discount? Absolutely. Is it harder? Absolutely. Right? When you buy at a discount, it makes everything easy.
Well, and here's
easier.
Here's the other reason I think that we don't do it is we're discount property investors, and I lost my train of thought, Dave. Let me think about that for 2 seconds. One, buying at a discount. Two,
can you make money on it at above a discount? Yeah, but it's harder.
It is.
That's just the main thing, I like to just streamline things and keep it simple. Whenever you're doing these other things, it just can it's a shiny object too. So here's the thing.
Yes.
Like I want to talk about Jeff real quick because he's both of our good buddies.
I love it.
And Jeff's the sub 2 guy. He loves it and he's good at it. And I promote the hell out of him, and I want him to keep doing it because he has a system for that, and that's what he looks for. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want to do, great. If you want to do lease options like Joe McCall, our good buddy, great. They're super successful at these things. But they're typically focusing their efforts on just those things. And as a wholesaler, when you start adding these shiny objects, you're going to go down these rabbit holes, and it's going to pull you away from what we like to call the 3 pillars of wholesaling.
No, I really do. That was my thought that I couldn't remember.
I'm helping.
Was
That's why we're a team, bro. Yeah.
Was, guys, that especially our beginning students, people who are just starting out, yes, there are 100,000 options, Literally, there's a million different things you could do with your time, with your efforts. But if you focus on just wholesaling and finding a deal, you're going to be better off in 6 months because you're going to know how to wholesale. Whereas if you go and you make an offer or a letter of intent, you send 3 or 4 different offers, and the seller comes back, oh, tell me more about seller financing. Well, shit, now you've got to go and figure out all this stuff that you're going to then explain to the seller. Same thing, you're going to have to, oh, shit, now I got to figure out how to do all this paperwork and all that. To me, it's just not worth it. Focus on finding the deals, focus on doing some marketing and generating leads for yourself. You're going to be 100 times better off wholesaling.
Totally agree.
That's why we do it.
So,
or why we don't do it.
Why we don't do it. So, to conclude, we aren't a fan of multiple offers. We're not saying it doesn't work. We're not saying that you shouldn't use them, but just be aware of the pros and the cons when you're doing that. It's going to make your cash offer look worse.
So,
because it's the lowest number on the sheet.
And I've literally, I think I've got 3 or 4 leads to where I need to follow up and just do some subject to deals because the cash offer didn't work, but the subject to might. We're taking over the payments. So again, it's not that we don't do those type of deals, just we don't chase them.
Yeah, it's not worth it to us. Signing off, guys. Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.